Hey everyone, it's Suzanne, and I want to thank you for joining us for the So Suzy podcast, where we help you build a business out of the hobby you love. You will also be able to get the show notes and the links we reference by visiting us at sosuzypodcast.com. Welcome to Made It Happen Monday, where we bring you the stories of the people in the creative industry who have built a business and made it happen. We have author, speaker, and time management coach Marcia Francois, the Organizing Queen, on the show today to talk about her business, how to live life intentionally, and the importance of goals. Marcia is a dear friend of mine who I met in 2004 during my professional organizing days. We were both building a business, blogs were taking off like wildfire, and podcasts were entering the business scene. Marketing and promoting a business was a lot different back then, with blogging being our main platform to spread the word of our services, along with e-zines and being a part of an industry-specific organizations. The other key element that is just as important now as it was 13 years ago is community and friendship. Professional organizing was definitely a hot ticket item, but there was a core group of us that interacted, shared each other's posts, promoted one another, and became fast friends. Laura from The Organizing Junkie was our home specialist. Marcia was our goal and time expert, and I handled the business and office aspect of organizing. One of my goals was to have Marcia on my Let's Talk Organizing podcast, but it was a bit tricky back then, and I wasn't really too sure how to interview someone in a different country. Fast forward to 2017, and I have this interview process down pat. Not only that, but Marcia's expertise in time management and goal planning is a perfect fit for our planner series. Marcia, thank you so much for finally being on the podcast and helping me accomplish one more of my goals.
Thank you, Suzanne. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, what made you want to be a time management expert?
Well, I didn't really set out to be an expert per se, but it was a subject that I was so passionate about. And when you start learning and practicing things around a specific topic for long enough, you do gain expertise. And I found that as I started sharing things, people resonated with it and people started hiring me and seeing results. And that's sort of how it developed. It was very organic.
Not only are you a time management coach, but you are an author and a speaker. What is your main purpose or focus when you speak or work with people?
My main purpose has always been to inspire people to take action on their goals, whatever those goals might be. So I would have people coming to me and saying to me that they didn't have time to, spend time with their kids or to do hobbies that they had before, but they just didn't have time now with busyness of life and work. And it's always just been, I can see the goal setting process working in my own life. And so I knew that I could help other people do the same in their lives. So that's it. So when people take action on their goals, it really gives me such great pleasure.
And your motto is live life intentionally. And you have a free monthly intentional calendar. What is the goal behind your calendar?
Well, I love using a monthly calendar. If you could see my desk right now, I have a calendar to the right of me, and I always have things plotted out and planned for at least 3 months, at a time. And I wanted a colorful one for me to use for this year, but not just a straightforward calendar like you can see on the internet, but I also wanted some space to set intentions for the month ahead. So I just designed something and it looked good. So I shared it with my own list. And I use that very same calendar, daily, monthly. Really, my goal behind the calendar is to have people to use it to make their lives easy.
And the worksheet that you email out every month is a monthly goals review. And one of the features I love is your last statement of, in a word, this month was. Tell us about the 6 questions on that goals review and how the whole process works.
So the monthly goals review came about because I'm generally such a goal-driven person. I accomplish one thing and I just move on to the next. And I knew that wasn't, it's okay, but it's not great because I never stop and celebrate the things that I have accomplished. So I put these questions into place for me to just stop at the end of every month and see what I'm doing well, what's not going so well, what do I need to let go of, and all of that. And yeah, then I just put those into a tool. So the 6 questions are: what were your top 3 accomplishments this month? How did you reward or treat yourself? What goals or projects do you need to adjust or drop? How did you live out your word for the year? What didn't go well that you need to pay attention to? And then the last one you mentioned was, in a word or phrase this month was, what was it? And I put that last one in because I found that people, we all, in fact, we have this problem of recency. So whatever happened just as the month ends, that's how we feel like the whole month went. If you had a stressful last few days of the month, everything just feels like it was a terrible month. It was horrible. However, if you look at the month as 30 days, then you realize it wasn't a bad month. You met with friends, you got some stuff done in your house, you had a good work month, the kids are doing well at school, you had some date nights with your husband, whatever the case is. So it's a process that helps you to just stop and take complete stock of the month that's been.
And that is so important because we do forget about everything else that happened. It's almost like, we're in this moment right now when that's not necessarily a really good perception of what actually happened.
Yes, exactly.
And then you have the did you reward or treat, or how did you reward and treat yourself, which we forget about. And that's just wrong. And it's so important, to kind of, celebrate your successes because we are busy people. And I think we forget that we're worth it.
Exactly. It's always important to reward yourself, but nobody's going to do it if you don't do it for yourself. So if you don't stop and say, you know what, I did really good work on this project, or I really organized my clothes this month and it looks great and I feel fabulous, then, nobody else is walking around saying, wow, you did a good job on that. So we have to do it for ourselves. We have to take stock, reward ourselves, and, give ourselves those pats on the back.
I agree. And it was so funny. One of the things that we used to talk about all the time was I had mentioned that I always bought myself a Christmas present and a birthday present.
Yes.
And
yes.
You were like, what? And it's true, and it was one of those things where I knew I would at least get a present, first of all. And then second, it was I would get something, that I wanted, that I enjoyed.
Exactly. And I still do that. So since you told me about that, I buy myself a Christmas present every year, wrap it up, put it under the tree, and everybody else thinks I'm crazy. And I tell them, my friend Suzanne taught me this, and it's excellent advice. It's actually excellent.
Well, thank you. I do too. I still do it. And everybody's like, especially my kids, Mom, really? Really? You're buying yourself a present? You already know. Why are you even wrapping it? It's like, because I want to unwrap it. First of all, I want to unwrap a present. You guys get to unwrap your presents. I want to have
Exactly.
one. And I want to have something, that I've wanted that maybe I didn't want to spend grocery money on, to have for myself.
Yes, exactly. You want something that you know you will like.
Exactly. And I like it that you have it on, the monthly goals, even if it's just, taking yourself out for a quiet time away from the kids.
Yes, exactly.
I really enjoy that. And I'm glad that it's on here because I think we do, just like we do forget about the entire month that happened, we forget that, we're worth it. And nobody is going to pat us on the back unless we do it ourselves. And one of the books, the ebooks that you have written is 31 Days of Enough Time. And I love the quote that you have from Daniel Wiley. There are far too many people that waste their time telling themselves that they don't have enough time, which is so true. And I'm definitely an offender. But why do you think that we sabotage ourselves, and how does your ebook help overcome that self-inflicted obstacle?
In society these days, it's almost a badge of honor to be busy. So if you ask anybody, how are you doing? How's life? And everybody says, it's so busy. I'm so busy. I've got so much to do. And it sort of creeps into your mindset that there's a lack of abundance with time. Now, I do agree that if you just, let yourself do everything, you don't set firm boundaries, you don't prioritize, that yes, you will feel stretched and like you don't have enough time. But I think when you change your mindset and you tell yourself, I have enough time for everything that's important to me, you will have enough time. I mean, they must do the same with you. People ask me, how do you have enough time to do all the things that you do? And I say it's because I make time. Books aren't going to get read by themselves. I don't have spare hours in the day where I'm thinking, oh, I'm so bored. What could I do? That just never happens. But I do set aside time for things that are important to me. I've always believed this. If something's important to you, you make the time for it. And that's really the premise of the whole book, so that there is enough time for the things that you want to do. If you, first of all, know what those things are. So if you know what your priorities are, if you know what's important to you and what's not, you can set those things or your life up in a way that honors the things that are priority to you. So people say they wish they had time for their hobbies. I have many friends who say they wish they had time for scrapbooking and they're waiting for some mythical day when their kids are old enough. That's not going to happen, people. It's just not. You have to set aside that time. If you decide you need 2 hours every week or 2 hours every second week, then do that. Schedule it. Say every Saturday afternoon, this is my time for doing my hobby or whatever it is, because I promise you it's not going to just land in your lap unless you create the time for it.
And it's okay to be selfish. And I think, like you said, that it's a badge of honor to be busy. I think people also feel like they can't, if they do take that time for themselves, then they're being selfish and they don't want to be selfish. And it's like, no, you're worth it. Be selfish. Take the time.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with being selfish and caring for your own needs also. But I just think that everybody around you will be happier when you are getting more of your needs met. There's no point in you sulking around the house being resentful because you're not getting time to do some of your own hobbies. You need to just, voice your concerns, voice your needs. Say, I need this time. I need time to go out and do this thing that is for me. Because when you get those opportunities to do the things you love, you're just a happier person. The people around you are happier, your kids, your husband, everybody wants you to be happy. So that's the way I see it.
I agree. It's kind of like that, if mom's happy, everyone's happy.
Exactly.
Now, right now, we have our planner series going on. And I know how much you love your planners.
I do.
What advice would you give to those people who are undecided or struggling to identify which planner they should use?
Well, first of all, I'm assuming these people like using paper, because there are people who don't like to use paper planners and they'd like to just use a smartphone. So let's just stick with people who like using paper planners. So I think you should keep it as simple as you can get away with, because the point of using a planner is not just to plan for the sake of it, but to make your life run smoothly. I know you're a big fan of bullet journaling as well. Bullet journaling there's such freedom in it, because if you try one spread and it doesn't work for you, you haven't committed yourself to using something for a whole year. You can change it the next week. If you don't like a certain layout, you scrap it and you start something different the next week. I know exactly the type of style that works for me, and that's because of the way my life works. So I like to see the day. I always have been a weekly planner. I like the days of the week down the left-hand side and place on the right-hand side for all my to-dos for the week. That's a style that works really well for me, but it's not a style that works well for someone else. Maybe they have lots of things that they need to get done every day and they need a daily planner. So you need to know yourself. In my head, I look at things as a week. I look at the week and I say, if I don't get this done today, that's all right, because I can do it tomorrow. But if that doesn't work for you, embrace whatever does and use the style of planner that will work for your life.
And seeing that this is a very creative-centric podcast, if there was one piece of organizing advice or time management advice that you could give, what would it be for those creative crafters out there?
Two things actually come to mind. I really believe you need to have, even if it's just a mental list, a list somewhere of things that you want to do, that you want to get done. And when you have these gaps of time, these 30-minute blocks or 15-minute block, then you know exactly what you could do and how long that will take. So if I have, say, 30 minutes free and it's near the beginning of the month, I know that I usually like to have a block of time to write out birthday cards and to wrap gifts. And, on average, I have about 3 to 5 gifts every month. So if I've got 30 minutes, I think, well, I can do 3 to 5 birthday cards. I can wrap a couple of gifts in that time. So I'm ready in my head with what I want to do in that time. Because if you don't use those bits of time, then you're just going to scroll Instagram and waste time. So that's the first part of it. And then the second part of it is to set up your environment for success. So if your space where you create is a big mess, you don't even feel inspired to actually do things creatively in that space. So I think part of it is having your things accessible. So I have a washi tape holder which is right next to my desk. I have cards and baker's twine and all of that also next to my desk. So I'm ready for anything. When I'm doing my planning, I can just reach over and get some washi tape and start. My pens are right there. Everything is right there. And the main thing is to keep the desk empty. I see this with my kids as well. I've got one who's a little bit of a dreamer, but she loves creating. And I keep telling her, if you keep your desk clean, then you'll want to be there and draw and whatever she does. But if it's not clean and if all your things aren't in their place, then you don't even feel like sitting and doing anything. And so I think that's the key. Know what you want to do and set up your environment for success.
And that is brilliant. I mean, because I'm suffering through this right now, and I have forgotten, and I have totally become unorganized, Marcia. It is embarrassing. It is so embarrassing. I mean, you remember how anal I was.
Yes.
And now, and my husband's so funny. He's like, I actually married you for your organizational skills, and you haven't done anything. And it's so true. It is so bad. But I'm looking over, in my craft area even right now, and I haven't made a card in ages. And I go to, like, I'll have time, and I look over at my space, and I'm like, oh man, I don't even want to go over there.
Exactly.
My desk is a mess. I had to put everything away. I had to find. I'm not listening to myself anymore. It's like, my inks are put up. So I have to go get them, and I got to cut the paper, and I got to find the paper because I moved my craft room out into my old shop, and I really haven't made it accessible to what I need yet. And I don't want to do it. I find excuses not to craft, and it makes me cranky. Really, at the end of the day, it makes me cranky. And I totally just forgot about making sure things are accessible and things are clean, and that it is an environment that I actually want to walk into and create.
Exactly.
It is very important. And then getting everything ready in my mind, it's kind of like I don't have a purpose. It's like I go there, I should make a card. Well, why? Why should I make a card? What is the purpose anymore? And now that I don't own my business, what is my purpose? And I am so bad at sending cards anymore. I mean, I used to be great at it.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, and letters, and it was something that, I would do, and I had my little, the 60-second desk tidy up, and then all of my stuff was right here, and I had my fountain pens, the wax seals, and everything was right there.
And what happened?
Exactly, what happened? I think I lost that, just like I said before, and that's why I love that quote, is because I was telling myself I didn't have time. I'm busy. I don't have time to do that. And then I feel guilty because I do have so much to do. And I think the main guilt is my house is a disaster, Marcia. My closet, you can't even walk in my side of the closet. It's embarrassing. And I think I feel guilty and ashamed that I'm not organized, so I don't feel like I should be able to treat myself to have time to do the things that I really love.
Want to do.
Exactly.
So can I challenge you there?
Okay.
Can you, yes, don't sound so nervous. I completely get that. But first of all, I want to just say to you, just let go of the guilt. Don't feel like you need to feel guilty. Life happens. We all go through things. But just let it all go. This is your permission slip to just let it all go. But now, in addition to that, just set up some time and tell yourself, I can do anything for 15 minutes. And just start with whatever you want to. If you want to start organizing your craft area, take 15 minutes. And at the end of 15 minutes, you say to yourself, well, I can stop now because I've done 15 minutes. But what I usually find is that after the 15 minutes, you're in your flow. So you actually want to continue. But at that point, you have permission to stop if you don't want to. If you do want to carry on, go for it. Go as long as it feels, fun. And just keep doing this day by day, and commit to at least 4 sessions and see how you feel at the end of that.
All right, you got it. I have my permission slip and I'm going to let go.
Yes, just let go. Let go of all the guilt. It doesn't serve you any purpose.
This is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take pictures of my mess. I will post them on Instagram. I know, but I will take pictures. I will post them. And then I will take pictures showing what I have done to get everything cleaned up, taking my 15 minutes. And then I will also take pictures of, the things that I am able to do. So that way, just like you had talked about before, it's almost like that, holding myself accountable, for the goals. And then the reward will actually be the actual success that I can be like, I did this. Okay, I'm back.
Yes.
And then my husband will be like, yay, now can you move on to the closet?
Organizing is a skill. You know how to do it. So it's just to create this space of time and just do it. And this is what I do still. I put on a podcast, and I was sorting out the kids' clothes recently, this last weekend. I just put on a podcast and I just go for it. You don't even notice the time because you're listening to somebody else talk, but you're getting things done. So, killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Which is always good. It's always good. Your mind's going, and then you're forgetting about what it is that you actually, have to do. So yes, I need to go back to doing that. Now, we always end our show with our fun fact segment, where we find out what your personal favorites are. So, Miss Marcia, what is your favorite organizing or time management system that you do to make your life easier?
I thought about, I could share so much, but I think the thing that affects me the most is menu planning, because it affects the whole household. My family loves to eat, loves. We just have breakfast and they're asking me what we're having for our snack. So I need to be on top of the food situation at all times. Otherwise it gets really stressful. So I think menu planning, because if anything helps to run this household effectively, that's definitely at the top of the list.
What is your favorite service that you offer? Speaking, coaching, or writing?
I think coaching. There's just nothing like it when you can help somebody get from where they are to where they want to be and see that improvement in their lives. So I love coaching people.
And you and I are both, and always have been, pen lovers.
Oh, yes.
So what is your favorite pen right now?
I have 2. Can I share 2?
You can.
Okay. That makes it easier. So in the past, my absolute favorite pen was the Pilot G2 7mm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to be a gel pen.
Mm-hmm.
But this Pilot is so expensive in South Africa. I remember when I was in the US, I bought a pack of 5 at Staples, and the price of that pack is the price of one of those pens here.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of, it's very expensive. So these days I limit myself because I have to, and I only buy them in my favorite color, or my favorite colors, which are sky blue, and there's a dark green I love.
Mm.
But I was actually browsing a stationery shop on the weekend, and I see they make them in these metallic colors now. I'm actually going to put them on Instagram because they're gorgeous. But I only bought a purple one because that's all that looked good at the time. So that's the one pen. But the other pen that is more economical for our rand is the Pentel Energel 0.7. These pens come in beautiful colors. They are delicious. Do you get them there?
I have not seen those, and I'm actually going to Staples tomorrow because I was going to pick up a couple of presents for you.
Oh.
Yes, because I'm going to send you, I'm going to send you some of my new favorites. So I will check to see if they have the Pentels there.
You should try them. If you can find them, try them. So we get them here in all colors, and they're about a third of the price of the others. So that's perfect. I have them in all colors: orange, pink, green, blue, purple, whatever they make, I have them. I love those pens.
Now, do you prefer the 0.7 over the 0.5s?
Yes.
Okay.
Then I love a nice thick point because my writing looks better.
Mm-hmm.
If I write with a thinner point, I don't know, it just doesn't look as neat.
Mm-hmm.
So I I like the thicker pen.
Okay, because I like the point fives, but they have the point sevens of the Papermate Inkjoy, which is a gel pen, and they have them in the point sevens all over the place. And it's the same thing. They just have they are fabulous, great colors, and they write really smooth, and they last a long time. And Marcia, I mean, it's like your pen dances and floats across the paper. And they work great with the bullet journals. Yeah, it's heavenly. And they don't provide, I use a lot of the Rhodia bullet journals, and I don't have the ghosting, if I'm using some of the different pens.
On the other side of the page, yes.
Yeah, so I will get the point sevens for you.
I love point sevens. That'll be wonderful because really, the point sevens have a specific place in my heart because I love those pens.
Yes, yes. And I was going to send you one of the Ashley Shelley bullet journals too, the dot grid notebooks.
Yes.
So yes, I will put that.
I looked at them. They're beautiful.
Oh, and they are fabulous paper. It's a bright white. And the paper is super thick, and I think it's a Clairefontaine paper.
Oh, I love those.
Oh, it is so pretty, and they're cheery, and they fit. I just bought a traveler's notebook, and they fit perfect inside of there. But she has they're beautiful. But I'll send you the triangle one that has the purple and the turquoise, and I think it has fuchsia on it. Yes. So I will send that over to you as well. So I'll just put together a goodie bag for you.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate it because you and I are kindred spirits with this. We love stationery. And I mean, just talking and listen to us talking about pens.
I can just do a pen podcast, pen and paper. Let's just do it.
I know. Oh my gosh. I could so easily do that.
And I still do. I actually still write out every single podcast on paper.
Really?
I still do that. Yep. Even if I'm doing my ebooks, if I'm doing my online classes, I write everything by hand first, and then I'll go through and I'll type it up and do I'll print it out. Then I go through and I write out the edits. I still just write everything. It's such a joy for me.
Yes, it is.
To write. So it truly is. That's why good pen and good paper, absolutely. You have to have it.
There is a specific joy. You're right. It's joy in actually putting pen to paper and feeling the smoothness of the pen gliding across the paper. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, there's nothing like it. And now, where can people go to learn more about you, the Organizing Queen, your ebooks, your goal sheets? Where can they go to get everything that is Marcia?
I'm at Organizing Queen on Instagram and Facebook, and my blog's www.organizingqueen.com. My website is www.marciafrancois.com. On the website, in fact, I think I have a link to it on the blog as well. You'll find on the menu bar books, and people will find it there. But I'm very easy to find everywhere under my name, and there's a place to sign up to my newsletter list on both the blog and the website. And when you sign up, you get automatically the intentional calendar, you get goals pack, and whichever forms I'm currently sending out. So the monthly review form is part of that pack as well.
And then just so we know, those of you who are in the U.S., the Organizing is with an S.
Yes.
And then the rest of the world, you're all good to go. So yeah, so it's organizingqueen with an S.com. And we will also have the links in our show notes as well. And then you have a special going on for your 31 days of enough time, don't you?
I do. And the special is basically if you type the code WELCOME into the shopping cart, you'll get 20% off the price of the book. And the welcome code works for this book and for the other two that I have. So either of them will work, and then you'll pay only $4 instead of $5.
Perfect. Marcia, thank you so much for being on my podcast. I cannot tell you how wonderful it's been to have you on the show, to come full circle in our professional life, and to talk with you again. It's been way too long.
I know, it has been. Thank you so much for having me, Suzanne.
And we will have links to Marcia's website, The Organizing Queen, as well as the links for her social media and 31 Days of Enough Time with the 20% off coupon code in our show notes at SoSuzyPodcast.com. And you may even see a picture of two of Marcia and I in Scotland during our first meetup trip back in 2008, where she also surprised me by staying at the same bed and breakfast in Stirling. And until next time, this is Suzanne, and you have been listening to the So Suzy podcast. Happy stamping!